That's the first like 5 minutes, not even maybe 2 minutes of the game. A drop spot battle gone wrong maybe sometimes, or gone right for a few people. We saw the big developments in EU and Misty Meadows, things happening all the way over at the agency. When these games finally start to teeter onwards to that 20 game mark, when everything's now down to the wall, you're desperate, you'll see 8 to 10 people maybe at a hot zone drop spot looking for a chance to pop off and make that difference up. With the top 5, it's not that different either. And right now, we're tuning in with Colazo already starting his sneaky strategies.
Oh my goodness. And we'll get back to the stakes of today in a second, because Colazo doing something that I haven't actually seen. You could edge your way in on the side of that building as if you're floating in midair there. Well done from him, but still spotted from the other side of the bridge. This is a very, very important fight here for Colazo. 29 builds. He did get those barrels earlier on, so his shields are fine. I'm wondering if it's the same on the other side.
That's what it's all about, but right now the SMG spray is actually going to carry him straight through this fight. Gets that player down, obviously that individual also not having enough builds. 91 players still left alive at this point. Usually it gets a little bit more chaotic in the early game, but people are holding out.
So far off to a good start, but 127th right now, he needs to move up by 40 points. And we're looking at problem. Launchpad off of the Shark, I'm guessing that there's almost certainty that this player has the card, has the grappler, has the AR. Otherwise, there's no reason. Oh my goodness! Wait a second. That is such an uncharacteristic mistake from Jay. You would never see him. I don't even know what he was doing. Was he trying to pop a shield potion? Or did he? I have no words for that. What just happened?
Had to be healing for some reason, but at the same time, that was like the big loot out of Shark. You have to know you're one of the hot topics of everyone in this entire region when you move first and have that grappler to use as well. Now it'll be all over. Problem, he's going to have the god loot basically to play out this early game and the aim to boot as well. Dropping in from box to box, but if he takes this out fast, he might have a loadout that we don't usually see on a player like himself. Usually it will be Jade who has that grappler being used all the way in endgame. That'll change the way we'll see things later on. Right now for him though, it's all about surviving this fight. The player now knows exactly the tools that he has in his kit. The shield's going to be popped by both and the fight will be reset.
Now problem, 4 points so far because of the elimination on Jade, and he's got the grappler. He can disengage if he wants to, but I'm not sure if this... Is it... Problem, what? Are you just finding, like, the easiest eliminations right now? That's 2 in a row, players just standing still. But now we're watching controller versus controller roller, otherwise known as D-roller, qualified through console FNCS against one of the PC controller players, one of the greats in AV, and AV has a lot of work to do for him today to qualify into the grand finals where we expect him to be.
Right now, Roller is going to be 4th overall in day 1. So he's got big momentum boosting after and behind himself, and big momentum in this fight too. Taking down AV like it's not even difficult whatsoever. Just an SMG spray out the back. No defense available from AV due to the angle. And
you know, compete against the greats. And they're clearly showing that that's not true. Taking out AV in quick fashion. You said it looked easy, almost. And maybe he's making upgrades to his PC or situation as well as changing up his name, his brands. For now, though, he's rolling, that's for sure.
Saw how it was with Big 60 when he moved over to the Shark. Roller will do something very similar.
You see in the tweets, he is concerned about today. He is concerned about being able to hang on to his just barely above pace for qualifying on day 2 into the grand finals. For somebody who is an FNCS warrior, I would say. Not necessarily performing the cash cups, but when it matters the most. Starts off big with a 70. And that is what it matters most. This fight that breaks out between Calc and I have to guess Commandment, who was behind him in this river. Nice white tags. No, it's not. It's grenades. And young Calc starts things off indeed.
Gonna be 1 point. Looking for his next. But at the same time, this is game 1 for all these players. They're making sure their signature moves are working out. We saw Calc with his cones. They're making sure they're using everything and leaving nothing behind. These 50 pots being taken, no. Actually, Paul getting slightly greedy will pay the big costs to Tabs G.
Switching gears, reverse 2K to fight with Fernando. This is many, many different action points and fights breaking out all around the map. And we are down to 71 players now in the second zone. We're actually very, very close to what would be a Storm Surge game, but looks like we'll be fine for now because this fight should end in completion. And should end, although a Storm fight, yes, a big pump from Fernando onto reverse 2K. Makes it 70. No Storm Surge in this game, but ever so close, man.
Niddle's right on his heels. Doesn't care, minigun in tow, but the counter's there. The double shotgun back-to-back. Niddle biting a little more than he can chew.
Maybe it was the fact that when he was down below the dam, there was nobody else to fight him. He's looking for another opportunity. This could be huge. Yes, it is. Flesh wound found, and instantly he's on the offensive. Down on that wall, blocks one side, and he's in the box. Yes! He does chase down Mega, who landed right next to the player who just chased him for so long, and that definitely is a questionable, I don't know, questionable play on both fronts. Like,
his methods,
I guess Mega has to land there because the zone is going farther north, and you can see already the congestion up there. This is going to be one of the most stacked games we've seen so far in week 2 out of all the different regions that we've watched.
This specific mountain, this area, once that half and half chooses where it's actually going to be, it could be completely aquatic. We could have doom basically for a lot of these players on the low ground who are trying to make it up mountains. And on the mountains, there'll be big guards in the form of Young Calculator looking down for any possible chance of a free elimination. And there's one under Perplexity, who I believe at one point was duoing or playing with his brother Haz, or either trying to contest him all the way at the Shark. So these random threads boiling up in solos. Pandouche walks by. Old dual partner was J-Love, who I'm not sure is playing or tried to play in this competition. But Unknown will still walk by, building all the way from water. This is E11's Graska, who looks for more beams up in the sky. And it's Unknown who found another pad and tried to go up again, but could not actually survive this time.
And then half by the waterfall. And I don't know how many times I've seen this zone, Shio, but too many to count. All I know is that it requires the most precision, the most accuracy and skill and position, as Tabs finds another one on the clutch, and he's going to go for the loot.
Maybe that's why the competition right now is so cutthroat. People know how intense it gets. You're not actually going to be able to look for a lot of eliminations once the zone gets smaller and smaller. A lot of these medium range shots that we don't usually get to see or have a POV of.
To deactivate. But still, it gives you an impression of what we're going to see in Grand Finals, or possibly even today.
This is a POV Hunt, an individual that's at 146th place as of yesterday, taking out Problem, someone who needs to climb up the ranks and is not comfortable exactly where he is. He has a lot of ground to cover to get to top 80.
Uncomfortable is something I think is an understatement, because he only has 30 builds and he has to cross this lake. There are launch pads in play, lots of players already using that, lots of players already rotating, but also what we typically see is a lot of people waiting. Clicks there, Saf, whose name is God Pump. We missed that yesterday, but somebody who was 80th place for Saf, the reigning FNCS Duos champion, and also a strong solo player since the days back to Summer Skirmish. Remember him doing fantastic second place at the Secret Skirmish and first place in that Duos competition. So maybe Duos is his more desired mode, but still such a strong one. You talk about Hunt. He's looking right now for that launch pad. Yes, he takes out Carson. That's a really, really good opportunity to refresh. But man, if you're a little too late on these launch pads going forward, you're going to get beamed from the entire server. One more flopper. And is there anything else here? Yes, a couple more.
Four?
Actually, 4 more.
5?
An entire stack. And he is going to launch pad in, but everybody will be looking at this unless he's so late that nobody realizes and they're all starting to box fight. He's going to dive right off that mountain, and he's good. He's in, safe for Hunt.
Yep. That was the case, and now he is exactly where he wants to be. Another edge of everyone's builds. He can kind of push and prod in to see if anyone's actually weak on these walls and these bases. A lot of people taking damage, as we saw on that rotation. And no one aware that this individual has the drum gun. That Hunt has the maximum potential to win out in these box fights. There's Fernando, who had such a good, momentous early game. 3 eliminations back to back to back. Hunt will be the main star right now, though, on a foot rotation already. Moving so early, getting right into a box that's trying to expand. Hunt takes over and now shares this. Symbiote,
look at
basically,
that
in this box.
469 brick in that pile too that he just yoinked from the player who's trying to expand over towards the 6th zone before it starts to move. And Shia, we've seen this story before. It's Midas's drum gun. It's a player with 3 elims already and also an epic pump shotgun and plenty of materials. I don't know how many times, but all I'm going to say is that we're in for a treat when it comes to box diving and stair phasing. Yes, there it is! Oh my goodness, melted! And that's Nico, who was 2nd place yesterday out of nowhere, completely melted down. But at least he got towards top 40 in this game.
Now he gets to hold on to that drum gun, but all these other players are not going to have any foundation. This entire zone up into the water. If you're in trouble, your safe haven used to be low ground. That is not there anymore. Colazo will stay up high. Now trying to dive in, box to box. So silky smooth on the overtake there. Gets a nice cone slide in. Gets a huge upgrade onto loot. A big stack of floppers as well. Now he chooses to walk forward with that heavy AR. Has a big say on long range, but right now his vision is nearsighted, looking box to box to dive in once again. That big golden pump in his inventory. He's staying secure. The zone's not moving just yet. It actually bounces back, so he has a little bit more time to think. But this person beside him might act fast again.
Colazo, we talked to him yesterday, and he said he wasn't necessarily the best solo player, but man, I've seen magic when he's put in clutch situations in other modes, and there it is. He gets bullied. Colazo looking to put himself on the Coliseum after all this, put himself at the top of everything. He needs to qualify through, and he was at risk yesterday, but with this play so far, 3 eliminations up in the top 12, very close to basically the best placements of everything in this format right now. He dives underneath and blocks the sight from up top.
There is a spotlight on him on this competition, but also from high ground as well. He's looking to kind of hide from that, make sure he plays in the proper shadows, and then strikes when the time is right, but no, takes so much damage trying to come in. Colazo still trying to move over. 500 mats now left. No more floppers. He's kind of locked in on his white HP, and his box is going to be Roller that moves through from early to late. Now he's sitting very healthy. 4 eliminations, 6 total people left over as well. It's Hunt on high ground who's controlling the entire lobby.
And so many people down below, Furious, Trashy, Nick, Aperta, but Hunt controls everything, and it is full on water and full on beams from Hunt. It's raining true, but he gets challenged from down below and loses the jump, but has the floppers to get right back up. Now top 3, the heals are there. I think we're going to see Trashy versus Aperta to go on in this 1 versus 1 down on low ground, and then Hunt might drop down and clean up, but they're targeting up above, and he might get knocked out. He has to re-heal again.
And still, there's no foundation down below. This is Hunt's kind of world right now. He just has to choose the right time to drop down. Roller is so low on mid, the worst position you can be in this 1v1v1. It goes back over. He gets taken out. Now, it is exactly what you said. Him versus Trashy, and Trashy gets the loot off of that elimination. It's now height versus low. There's a drum gun up there, and Trashy just has the water. No more builds left. The harpoon is there, though, to use. He's trying his best. Finally finds land. Is it the best thing, though? He drops down Hunt, and now Trashy, with his last breath, looks for the pump shot, goes towards the right. In-store 5 HP. It's not enough. Hunt, from beginning to end, wraps up the competition, gains height, makes it to land, and boards a big ship of 61 total points to start day 2.
A big ship indeed, but guess what else has sailed? It's Roller again.